With us, everyone. Let's move on now to the issues of the governorship debates which held yesterday in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Well, of course, a lot of issues went down, from the issue of economy to the profiles of the candidates that were brought to the table. But obviously, the 4 candidates that were invited from a survey that Channels Television, Enough is Enough Nigeria and Policy and Legal Advocacy Center put up, asking people to determine the 4 candidates they would like to see in an election debate. And they brought about these 4 candidates: the SDP candidate, Dr. Oluwagunloye, the AD candidate, Olushola Oke, the APC candidate, Rotimi Akeredolu, and the People's Democratic candidate, Jimoh Ibrahim. And 4 of them were effectively communicated and invited for this election. But interestingly, the APC candidate, Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu, a lawyer, a senior advocate of Nigeria, would not show up, and no reasons were given earlier before that. But we understand that he has released a statement. Listen to what he says has kept him away from talking to millions of people who are expecting to hear from him. Some of those who will be expecting to vote for him. They wanted to know what his programs are. Some of those who were not even at any of his campaigns, not to even hear what he has in plan for them. Some of them will have been at their workplaces, but they wanted the opportunity in the evening to come back and listen to Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu, who was obviously absent. Take a listen to what his group and his party said, the reasons why the man was not there. He said, as we speak, and I quote them now, Akeredolu is tucked in the deep riverine communities of Elijah local government, most of which have no access to electricity to watch television. In view of the demand of his hectic campaign schedule, we therefore regret our inability to honor Channels TV's call for debate within the remaining time. Sorry, it's not Channels Television, actually. We are just a vehicle to wanting people to understand this democratic process, that politicians need to answer to the people, and millions of people, almost 100 million eyeballs, are waiting to see that. Let's make a sense of what happened yesterday and the issues that are brought up. The executive director of Enough is Enough, Yemi Adamalekun, joins me on set now. Many thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you, Shem.
We spent several weeks planning for these debates. So many of our partners, some of them who are effectively on the sideline for Major League, Plaque, EIE, and Channels Television planning this debate. It's been one that we wanted politicians to be accountable, to talk to the people and let people know these issues that they want, that are very important. But how does it come to you, for example, having been part of this planning and a major candidate is absent?
It was actually, sorry, it was actually very surprising, especially as you know. Usually we do our debates Sunday evenings, and that's been the tradition to take part of the normal Sunday evening politics today. And as we planned, we can't have a debate without candidates, and we usually work with their schedules, have a conversation around what day works, what time works. And Mr. Akeredolu requested that we not do it on Sunday, but do it on Monday, because they had a fundraiser in Lagos on Sunday. We checked Monday with the other candidates, it worked for them, and we moved the debate to Monday. Now, as you said, during the day, there was no communication that he was not going to be there. As if you remember your opening statement, you actually said, hopefully he will join us during the course of the evening. So we had no inkling that he wasn't coming. And then to release the statement sort of midway or right at the start of the debate was really very disappointing and quite unfortunate, especially because Monday was his promised date that he will be available.
Yeah, a lot of people will look again that how important is an election debate in the first place? Well, maybe you could be absent, maybe one could understand, because I saw Mr. Olushola Oke looking tired, and so is Mr. Dr. Oluwagunloye was also looking tired. That means they were on the field and they came. How important is an election debate in the first place?
I think it's extremely important. I mean, the rationale for why we organize it anyway at such huge cost, as you mentioned, is the fact that at campaign rallies, it's a one-sided conversation, which is usually what people see on TV, coverage of a rally. Some do interviews, one-on-one interviews, but really a debate provides an opportunity for candidates to challenge themselves. So it's not that one person is on a show, you leave, then the other candidate comes and says their bit, and there's no opportunity for a dialogue. That's what a debate is. It provides an opportunity to challenge questions, and for the moderator to go back and say, well, that's not really true, this is what we understand. So that's what a debate is for. Now, it's a culture we're building in Nigeria. It's not where we want it to be, but we'll get to the point where debates will will be a major factor in how citizens choose who represents them, and that's where we're going.
What stands out for you? Maybe we should show some of the reactions of people to the debate, some of the tweets that came up, and some of them were very interesting, the kind of things people were saying. We couldn't actually capture all of them, but if they're on your screen and you're seeing them right now, some of them are talking about how they feel. One really stood out for me, saying, look, I've not had time to listen to all the campaigns and all the candidates, but this has given me opportunity to do so. The kind of reaction that it was trending nationwide yesterday, what kind of reactions that really stands out for you during the debate?
I think for me it was also the people who got to hear it, not just watch on channels, but who also got to hear it on radio. And I think it's one of the things we did for this debate that was actually really very good. So not everyone will have an opportunity to watch channels. I mean, for example, my dad, because of the rain, channels went off. So he started flipping through channels to see who else was showing it, if any of the Ondo State stations was showing it. So the fact that we had it on a local station, NTA Akure, and also had it on radio, I think was actually really very good. And the fact that the candidates, as you had at the end, also got an opportunity to ask themselves questions. So not only were you asking questions, they also got to ask themselves questions. I think was really a good addition to it.
A lot of issues came up, and one interesting part is the taxation issue and how they're going to fund the projects they're planning to do, or their programs and manifestos. Again, it brings to the fore what plays out in some other parts of the world, the issues that are supposed to drive some of this conversation. But what exactly? You know Ondo State very well, and some of the issues that are the heart of the economy, the life of the people of Ondo State, the issue of pensions, the issue of minimum wage, the issue of infrastructure. What were those issues that you think that the next governor of Ondo State really need to look into, if you look at those issues discussed?
I think the main was the one about taxation, as you mentioned. So Mr. Ibrahim, who's on the platform of PDP, said he'll cancel PE tax and then do voluntary tax contribution, estimating 2 million people to pay every year. And I think that's really quite, I'm trying to look for a nice word. It's a long stretch to think that people will voluntarily pay tax. People struggle to pay for power. People are always trying to find ways to cut lights, and it's one of the things the discos complain about all the time, because people think power should be a public good. Then you expect those same people to voluntarily give money to government? I don't see how that's going to happen. Now, if you look at Ondo, as far as I was trying to get the numbers today, as the best I can say, even if we say 100,000 people pay or are civil servants, max. If we double that and say, for the sake of argument, you have 200,000 people who are paying PE tax in Ondo State. And suddenly we want that to jump to 2 million people voluntarily paying tax. So obviously that doesn't work. And I think, the other two candidates definitely said that they plan to keep PE tax and they're not cutting that. The other thing was an issue of minimum wage. You can't, if you think minimum wage meaning just increasing 18,000, as I think it was Mr. Agundoye that said it, you have to increase everybody's salaries proportionately up the hierarchy. And that's also not practical given the resources of the state.
All right, just as we close now, there are a lot of politicking right now. The cases are in court, INEC is preparing. Do tell me in few seconds, how interesting do you think this election particularly will look like?
It will be extremely interesting. I think especially because of the court case and what the judgment might be tomorrow. INEC should definitely not postpone elections. PDP's internal crisis. No, PDP has had an internal crisis since 2015. So they shouldn't use their internal crisis to cause everybody else in the state grief. So the elections should go on.
Observers like you that are going to pay more views.
To go and come back again. Definitely not. And people are also a bit concerned about the influence of the party at the center. That votes must be free, they must be fair, and they must be credible, and that INEC must make sure that that is seen to be the case.
Executive Director of Enough is Enough, a partner with Channels Television on the debate. Of course, so you overload this partners with Channels Television. Thank you so much, Yemi Adamulekun, for talking to us. And that's our package right here from Akure, the capital of Ondo State, where Channels Television, a team, are on the ground monitoring for you every beat of this election. I will bring it to you right there so you can be part of everything that happens and who becomes the next governor of Ondo State. Who succeeds Mimiko? Hashtag Ondo Decide. That's how far we can go on the program. Many thanks for being part of it. I'm sure Akim Baloy on behalf of the team.